Bhante Kondanna is a Theravada Buddhist monk who is currently the senior meditation teacher at the Vipassana Meditation Center in Moratuwa, Sri Lanka. A meditator for 15 years, he was an engineer in the United Kingdom prior to becoming a monk. Bhante tours the West annually, giving teachings and leading meditation retreats. He is thoroughly conversant with English and is known for his excellent rapport.
Various forms of these is bound to arise within us. It's quite natural. One doesn't have to look down and condemn oneself as a sinner because these thoughts arise. All one has to do is just learn the art of just not reacting to this. Bring awareness into it, develop your awareness. When you bring awareness into this, then you realize it's nature. You observe it as nature. You watch the greed arise. You watch the aversions arise. You watch them go. Of religious education, the books that we've read, the films that we've seen, all this, we have learnt much, and out of them we have taken a few from here and there, and we've established what you call my view. That's fine. But what happens when we cling to this my view? Dislikes. We start investigating them. How did we come to likes and dislikes? That came because the way we were conditioned. If I was born to a family that used no sugar in tea or coffee, well, I would not acquire a taste for sugar. If anybody put some sugar in my tea or coffee, I would not be able to drink it. And if one of you have been brought up in a family that drank sugar in their tea and coffee, you would not acquire taste without sugar. You would want sugar and in your tea and coffee. And when there's no sugar, you wouldn't be able to drink it. And then if I give you a cup of tea without sugar, you will probably say that you can't drink it. And if I ask you the reason, you'll say, it's the sugar. If you give me a cup of tea with sugar, I can't drink it. And if somebody asks me why I can't drink it, I'll say, it's the sugar. So we all think it's the sugar, and I have without sugar, and you have with sugar, and you're happy. But is it really the case? Is it the sugar or the conditioning that we have to sugar? I was conditioned for no sugar. You were conditioned to sugar. That is if you go deeply into it. And the teaching slowly and gradually allows us to investigate all our likes and dislikes, and to see the conditioning that we've been conditioned with, and to rise above it, to learn to let go ourselves of that condition, to uncondition ourselves, retain whatever good conditioning there is, let go of the wrong conditioning. Slowly, we'll find that we can have more and more joy in our life. You're looking at a Buddhist monk, a human being who's using the convention of a Buddhist monk. You may be thinking there's a big difference between the Buddhist monk that's here and you over there. In reality, there is no difference. We are both born and we'll die. We all have bodies, we all need food. What is the difference? The difference is using the teachings of the Buddha, whenever these thoughts based on greed, hatred or delusion arise from within me, I would not be identifying with them. In your case, whenever the thoughts based on greed, hatred and delusion arise from within you, you'd be identifying with them. You'd be enslaved by them. You'd have to do something about them because you think they're you. This is the difference. Other than that, there's hardly a difference. Just because one wears a robe, it doesn't mean that there's no greed arising, there's no hatred arising, there's no delusion. It only means that one is working towards that state. Gradually, the forces of greed, hatred and delusion will cease to arise from within this being. Our life is completely dependent on lay people, people like you. And of course, the lay people feed our bodies. In return, we help them to make their weight they carry on their head a little bit lighter, to share some of our own experiences, just like I'm doing now with you, to help you to establish more joy in your daily living, to help you to see through this darkness of ignorance and allow some light to seep in gradually, using the teachings. You don't have to identify with the teachings. And the Buddha was very clear to believe blindly, or do not hastily disbelieve. You all have a mind and a body. It is about the nature of this mind and body that he's speaking of. You can see the light of the teachings by just observing the very nature of your own mind and body process. If intellectually you feel inspired to put into practice the teachings, that is all what the teachings expect from you. And as Buddha said, the only way, the highest form of gratefulness, offering that you can do to me, is to use the teachings wisely, to bring about an awakening within yourself that can bring peace and harmony not only to yourself, but to everybody around you, to the whole universe, the whole cosmos, to bring some order into this miserable state of affairs. The catastrophe, the chaos the world is in right now, one has to start with oneself. However noble-minded we are, we all want and wish to establish peace and harmony in the world. But we have to first establish it within ourselves. This is the most important aspect of the teachings. Unless you establish a sense of peace and harmony within this mind and body of yours, it is almost a wastage of your time even to think of establishing peace and harmony without you. So I hope that these few words would in some way, even in a small way, inspire you to use the teachings to bring a little bit more joy into your life. to awaken yourself from the darkness of ignorance or the slumber of ignorance that you are living in. And then you would be doing yourself some good as well as the whole world. Self-development, one must establish within oneself.